Okay, so yesterday we've talked about how we could use the basically how we could create the reusable JavaScript file. We have seen how we could create the reusable, not reusable, how we can use the external libraries and external JavaScript within Salesforce, right? Now let's talk about what was the page reference in Lightning Web Component, because whenever we are trying to create the records in Salesforce, we are trying to showcase some toast notifications. There would be some use cases where you wanted to navigate to the multiple resources, multiple URLs like record page, object page, or Lightning App Builder pages, or the digital experience pages, or the web pages. It could be external URLs, internal URLs. There will be multiple URLs that you really wanted to navigate to different URLs, right? So how you could navigate? If you are familiar with VA page, you might have seen there is a concept of page reference. There is a class itself, page reference. There is like navigate something, forced navigate something is there in Lightning Aura component. In Salesforce Lightning Web component, there is something called page reference. Okay, and page reference library is basically provided by, there is another library called navigation mixin that is there within Lightning navigation library. So what we have to do is, like the all other attributes, all other concept, we really need to import this navigation mixin, and then that navigation mixin is going to be imported from Lightning navigation. Then what we have to do is, this Lightning navigation gives us some of this navigation mixin give us some of the methods that we can use, like navigate or generate URL. So what we really need to do is, we need to apply this navigation mixin to the base class, that is Lightning component. I think it's not Lightning component, it is Lightning element. And then we can use navigate method to navigate to the URL or to the object record page, edit page, new page, or maybe Lightning App Builder pages, digital experience pages. So the different systems, different URLs we can navigate. Then there are this navigation mixin. Basically, there are two methods that we have got. One is current page. This not navigation mixin. This Lightning navigation has got two main method. One is current page reference, which is going to give you the reference about the current page where your component is sitting currently. And then navigation mixin, that is going to give you the two API methods. One is navigate and one is generate URL. To basically generate page reference, this one navigate is basically to navigate the like navigate to the target URL from the component. Generate URL is, you can generate the URL and then you can store that URL, and then you can utilize this for the further use case whenever you want to navigate or use that URL. This is the simple syntax that we have here. On top, if you see the line number 2, which is basically importing the navigation mixin from the Lightning navigation, and then this is a here in the line number 3 in the class itself, we are applying this navigation mixin base class to our base class, that is Lightning element. If you don't apply, it's not going, the navigation is not going to work. So sometimes as a developer, most of us usually make the mistakes is like we import this and then we use this way to navigate. We forget to apply the API to the navigation mixin, right? So that's basically we really need to apply this, otherwise we cannot navigate. And then this is basically just a simple page reference where we are navigating to a record page, but there are different page reference that you can navigate to. You can prepare the URL. Now, one thing that I would say is, you really don't need to remember, you really don't need to by heart everything. What you need to do is, you need to know, if you really wanted to navigate the URL, like you wanted to navigate to a certain URL, you can use this navigation mixin library to navigate. Okay, that's one thing. These are the different page reference types that we have: external record page, knowledge article, Lightning component, named page, that is for experience builder site, named page, that is for standard, object page, then we've got record page. There is something called relationship page as well, web page. There are multiple pages that you can navigate to this library. This is your link to the Lightning Web Component library, but you really don't need, because you might have a question, if I wanted to navigate, do I really need to have this link handy? That is not something you really need to have. You can go to Google and you can search for page reference type. Okay, page reference in LWC. It's really going to basically give you the link where you can navigate to, you can find all the navigations that are available. Okay, and you will also find the examples here in this complete URL. You could see some of them I have listed down in the PPT, and this is basically the example for the multiple page reference type that you can go ahead and, based on your need, you can easily utilize within your Lightning Web Component. Okay, so let's talk about how we can implement this. So we will quickly create a Lightning Web Component and we can name it as a page reference. As we are going to use this within our Lightning App Builder page, we really have to make sure it is exposed, and then we have got the Lightning targets, and you can keep the default target, or if you want to change, you can change the default target. Then navigate to the HTML file. We can quickly use the Lightning card as usual that we have done. We are keep doing. The title, I would say page reference. Icon could be same like a standard colon account, or you could use the custom. So one question to everyone. Do you know how these icons are getting constructed? Do you have an idea? Like, because sometimes I've used custom icons and I just typed something randomly and it came up, we got the icons. Okay, so basically if you go to SLDS, there is something called SLDS, that is Salesforce design language. Okay, for CSS, we get multiple CSS from SLDS. So you need to say SLDS icon. Okay, there are two things here. One is, this is basically category, and this is the account. This is the name of your icon that you wanted to display. So if you go to SLDS icon and open this SLDS icon, what it is going to give you is, it's going to give you the list of available icons that you can use. Okay, and there are five categories like utility, doc type, standard, custom, and action. Okay, so let's say we are here in doc type. Now, for example, let's say you wanted to use this icon, which is maybe audio. You wanted to display this icon in your Lightning Web Component. So how you will do is, what is the category? Category is doc type, and then what is the name of your icon? That is audio, and you have to say doc type. So category colon the name of your icon, it's going to build the icon for you. You cannot use your own. This is just a reference one. Okay, similarly for standard, you have a standard colon account, account info. These are all the icons that are available for standard. For actions, there are like you will definitely need some of the actions, maybe like edit icon, or maybe there should be something called delete, filter, defer, bug, close. These are all the icons, and these are the only 5 categories icons that you have. Within utility, you will find multiple object or multiple icons over here. So that's how these icons are getting constructed. Okay, now let's quickly have a button group. This time we are going to have a button group. So as its name says, it's button group. Okay, it's going to contain multiple buttons. So we are going to say, let's say, create new account. Okay, and then we will say, okay, edit account, view account. Okay, these are the 3 buttons we have, and we are going to have on click, and we are going to say handle new, and similarly handle edit and handle view. These are the three different methods that we are going to have. So we'll say handle edit and handle view. Now we really need to define these methods into our JavaScript file. like event. These are the three different methods. Like we have got new, we have got edit, and then we have got view. Okay, these are the three different methods that we need. So what we talked about, whenever we wanted to use page reference, we have to say import. Okay, and the method name is navigation mixin. I really don't remember the name, so I'm going to use the LWC shortcut, that is import, and you say here something called LWC navigation, and you will find here import navigation from Lightning Navigation. Okay. Next thing, once you've got this navigation mixin, you need to apply to the base class. So make sure you don't forget this step. And here we need to navigate to different URLs. Now on the click of this new button, we really wanted to open the new record for the account object. So if you go to Salesforce, click on account, and then click on new. This is how the UI looks like, right? And now if you really want, on the click of this button, you wanted to open this kind of UI, how you could open is what we are going to see there. Okay. So how you are going to do, so there is something called, we've talked about, like this method, basically this particular navigation mixin has two methods. One is navigate and one is generate URL. So I really don't remember the syntax, so we can either go to this page reference and get the URL. Okay, or we can use the standard, or not standard, or custom plugin that we have installed for our VS Code. So we can say, if you type LWC, you will find there are something called LWC-NAV. Okay, sorry. If you find LWC-NAV, LWC nav, right? So it actually gives you multiple navigation here. And most of the times you will end up using these navigation. Okay. So where we wanted to navigate is, we wanted to navigate to object that is record page. Okay. How do I know it's a record page? Because whenever we wanted to perform any new record or edit or view related to an object, that is always going to be record page. Okay. Sorry, it is not the record page. Record page is only when there is existing record. So we are going to use this for edit. Definitely, that's fine. We are going to go to object page. Now, if you see here, this is a different syntax. This is a different syntax. These are the two different syntax. Now, what it actually takes is, it takes an object here. You can prepare object beforehand, and you can pass that object here as well. You can do like this. Let's say let nav, and then you can pass this nav here. That is also going to work because this is a JavaScript object. Now it says that what is the type? Type means where you wanted to navigate. What is your target URL? What is your target site? External party. That is standard object page. Okay. Then we have got attributes. And then there is something called state as well, like state. We'll talk about later on that state. Okay. Then attributes, like for every type, for every page reference, the attributes are going to differ. Okay. And from where you will know? You will know from this link. Okay. You will know from this link. For example, this is for a standard application. Okay. Then this is for external record page. Then if you navigate to, you'll find this is for Aura components. This one is for articles, for community login page, for named content page for our CMS. This is for experience builder pages. Okay, and this is again, this is for navigating to your custom tab if you have created using Lightning Web Component. And this one is for your object. And if you see here, attributes has got action name and object API name. And it also has got some state, which can accept these three properties. Okay. And if you see, this is a simple basically simple kind of things we have got, simple object, and this is a complex one including the state. So you can always use multiple ways, and this document is going to be your savior whenever you're working with page reference. Okay. So here what we wanted to do is when a user clicks on new, we really wanted to create a new record for which object? For account object. Okay. That's the one we have got. Then next thing we talk about edit object. So now this is edit. So what we will do is we will always try to edit a record, or we will try to view a record, right? So in this case, we have got a standard record page. We've got clone, we've got edit, we've got view. So we really need to tell that we wanted to edit. What is the record ID? Let's quickly take a sample record ID here. Like this one is our record ID. And then object API name. This is an optional. If you want, you can pass. If you don't want, that's really not going to make any impact. And then we have something called view. So you just have to put it here instead of edit, just put it view, because that is also a record page. Let's go ahead and deploy this. So far we are good. Any questions? Okay, anyone else? Oh, you can still hear me, right? Okay. Oh, not sure why it's taking too much time. And just bear with me. I thought of covering two topics today, but I don't know even if I will be able to cover now. Seriously. Mm. Mm. Wow. Have you seen this kind of issues? Oh, I'm really sorry guys for this glitch. Hopefully this time we'll be able to do something. Okay, page reference, let's put it here. All we need is just one time. If we have multiple JS and CSS file, we can zip and upload it into static resource. Yes, that's true. You can do that. And then you have to access it using a load script or load style object, not object, the methods that we have got within Lightning Platform Resource Loader. Okay, we can talk later on if we get some time about this, how you could access. So you could see here, we've got the icon that says music. We've got 3 different buttons. Okay. You click on create new, it's basically opening this new model for you, and that's fine. If you click on edit, it's going to open the edit model for you for the account that you have provided the ID. Okay. And then if you click on view, it's going to navigate to that particular account that is now Grand Hotel Resorts. Okay. This is just a simple navigation that we have seen. Okay. There could be there are multiple navigations that we could always go there. Okay. So let's first talk about one further concept of navigation, that is if you have a component. Okay, let's quickly create a tab. So to create the tab for our Lightning Web component, we are going to use the same, okay, page reference one. We are going to just have a one more target component, that is Lightning tab. Okay, and what we will do is we are going to create a tab. Okay, so to create the tab, we'll navigate to setup, and I hope it's not going to tell us that, okay, you are not able to create the tab. Okay. So we are going to search for tabs, and then under user interface, you'll find these tabs. Okay, click on that, and it is going to open here. It's going to showcase all the tabs that you have within your Salesforce org, and then it will let you create a new tab based on what tab you wanted to create, either a Lightning Web Component tab or a custom object tab or the external web applications tab. And I knew it's going to create some problem. So basically, okay, it is saying that you need to log in. Okay, tabs. Oh God. Okay, finally we got the UI. So what you need to do is within this Lightning Web Components tab, we already have got one design component. We are going to create one more tab. And here we will select our Lightning Web component, that is page reference. Okay. And in the Lightning Web component, select page reference. You can give the name anything like page reference. You have to select the tab style. Okay. You can select any tab style that you really want. It could be book or bank or person or money. You just go ahead, create the tab and click on save. Okay. Our tab is created now. Now let's go ahead and we really need to find out our tab, that is page reference. Go ahead and select that tab. You will see the URL here. You could see Lightning, N, and page reference, and we can see those three options. Okay. Now, if you really wanted to pass some value to this URL, so how you can pass? Let's say you wanted to pass value like name equal to Amit Singh, and if you hit enter, okay, we've just passed a value. This is basically known as query parameters, and we are not able to pass. Okay. So what's the issue that we are not able to pass? Anyone, can anyone let me know why this we are not able to pass a variable in the URL with the help of question mark that we can do usually in other websites? Even sometimes we really need this in terms of whenever we are doing the integration. So anyone has any idea why that's not working? Okay, no worries. So now what you can do is basically to pass any parameter in the URL, you have to use question mark. This is your namespace. Namespace is C __, and you can pass like variable name, a name equal to whatever the value that you wanted to pass. And after passing the value, if you hit enter, this time you will see that this is there in the URL. It's not getting anywhere. That means if you really need to pass a value to a component which is navigating, and so how you will pass is with the help of this from your Lightning Web component. Okay. Now let's do this inspect. Okay. And click on console. So let's imagine a requirement here, or consider a requirement here. Let's say you are developing a page. It could be a Lightning Web component, or it could be not Lightning Web component. Let's say it is a internal UI, or it could be the digital experience that that we all know is community. So if you really need to use read these parameters, like what are all the parameters, how you could read this in Lightning Web component. There are like different ways. You could always go to, like, there is something called location we've talked about, right? So location class is there, and then I think there is something uh, there is I think location.search. Yeah, location.search is going to give you this value after including question mark, and then you can just have some logic there. You can get your values. You have to really write the data code, JavaScript code for getting the variables. This is one thing that you can get. Next thing is that there is something called current page reference. So if you remember in the previous slide we've talked about, right? In here in our Lightning Web Components slide, we've talked about there is something called current page reference. Okay, so it basically gives you the information about current page reference. So if you search for navigation into the component library, and within the components Lightning, if you select navigation, you will find this import. This is current page reference that comes again within the same library, that is Lightning navigation. So you can just get this page reference, import this here into your Lightning Web Component where you wanted to read the URL, the page reference. Okay, and this is again, this is a wire method that you have to use. So what you could do is you could just copy this and let's paste it here, and we need to import the wire method. Now this page reference is going to give you everything. So if you talk about if you know that there is something called like wire method returns two things, either a state or not a state, either a promise or a variable. So we will use a promise. So what we will do is we'll say that maybe current page ref, and it takes one parameter that is called state. Okay, so what this is, whatever we see here in Lightning Web Component or within Salesforce that comes after question mark, that is known as state parameters. Okay, so you have to say, if you can say if state, you can just do the console.log, and you can say json.stringify as state. So this state is basically going to give you the object in the form of key and value pair. So if we have to take the example here, this is name, right? So this state is going to have the value something like this. So this is going to have the value, the state is going to look like something this state, where it's going to say C__name and Amit Singh. This is how our state going to look like. So let's go ahead and deploy this change. We have already deployed, we are just redeploying it to make sure we are done, and then let's refresh this page. So what will happen as soon as this is getting refreshed, it's going to read the query parameters based on the current page reference. If it is find something, it's going to give us the result. If it doesn't find something, it's not going to give us the result at all. So if you see here, we've got C__name is the name, whatever the parameter we have passed here. Here you could see it is URL encoded, but here it is decoded, and you could easily access that variable. Okay, this is the one way of accessing the one way, or I would say this is the recommended way to get the URL parameters and use it. Now this we talked about is only reading the parameters. We have not talked about how we can pass the parameters. Okay, so we also have another tab called design components. I think that is the tab, but we really wanted to make sure that our tab is correct. Okay, so I've just opened another at components, not component, another tab, Google tab, and our tab is a design component that I'm just opening just to make sure I get the API name. Okay, and now let's go to our URL that actually gives us the different page reference. Now what is the requirement? The requirement is that whenever basically we wanted to have a new button here, and whenever we click on that new button, we really wanted to navigate to this tab that is design component, and having some attributes passed here, maybe first name, last name, and email. Okay, so all I need is I only need that. Okay, I need all I know is I know that okay, there has to be a button, and there is already a tab that is created. I need to navigate there and then pass some values in the URL. That's it. Now I know that, okay, navigation is there, so I will definitely go there and find out the lightning navigation. And I really don't know what is the structure there. So as usual, what we will do is we'll navigate to this page. And this time what we have to do is we have to go to this navigation item page. Okay. I really know that this is a navigation item page which we wanted to navigate. Sometimes you will not be knowing that, then you might have to go through with each and every type of page reference. But trust me, once you work with this, you will get to know, you will easily know that, okay, for this particular type of reference, this is the one. Okay. So once I find this, I'm just going to do this copy paste and I'm here. Okay. And this is just a very simple syntax that we have. Standard nav item page, the API name, and if I really wanted to pass something. So let's see if this really works or not. Okay. So we have seen, we're going to say handle tab navigate. I'm going to have event default. Okay. So this is our object, and navigation is something that is how we have to do. Now we really wanted to pass some values. Okay. First of all, these attributes, we need to change the API name. So let's take the API name, that is our API name is design underscore component. And we wanted to pass some parameters. So we'll say, okay, state. Now how you will pass the parameters? You will always pass the parameters that is going to start with C underscore underscore. And then you can give any name. So let's say you wanted to pass first name. Okay. Then you wanted to pass last name. And then you wanted to pass email. So these are some of the parameters that we wanted to pass as part of state. Okay. And now let's use this here in our another button. So we'll say LWC colon button. And we can label it as design component. Title I really don't need. And the method name is handle tab navigate. Okay, that is what we have. Okay, so that's what we have got. Okay, let's now go to Salesforce, and first we'll get back here in our Lightning Web component. Okay, so this is our button that says design component. If I click on this design component, it really navigates me to my component with all the variables, parameters that I have passed. Now, if I really wanted to go to this component, okay, what we have to do is, let's say you wanted to read these parameters. Okay, so what you have to do is go to, like, this is our, we really have to find where this design component is. So this is my component. And we have to go to JavaScript. Okay. And here we have to import that is, let's quickly take it from page reference. That is, now this time in this component, I only wanted to read the page reference. I don't want it to navigate. So I really don't need this navigation mixin. Okay. And I really don't need to apply the navigation mix into the base class. I just need to read it. That's it. So I'm going to take this parameter like wire and then have this here. That's it. And it's really going to give me all the details that we have in the URL. Okay. So let's go ahead and deploy this as well. Now let's get back to our first page. This is the one page reference. We are going to refresh this page. Okay. Yep. Now let's go to design component. And you could see here, right? We are able to see all the details like first name, last name, email, and in the correct format, whatever the format we are passing. So this is how basically you pass the parameters, you pass the values, right? And you read the values from one component to another component. And you can read the complete page reference. You might want it to go to this particular URL. You could go there. You could go to see different navigation type. You click here, it's going to take you to the different navigations. Okay. You would see that there are navigate to object home page, navigate to list view. Okay. And then we have got record page. We've got edit page, a related list if you wanted to navigate. Tab page, if you really wanted to navigate to the custom tab. You see here, it has given us, this is what we have used. External URLs that you wanted to navigate, this is what our URL is. So you have multiple ways. Again, this is the page reference type. And these are some of the navigation where it says add, navigate to record or edit page. Like record edit page with default values. And you will see how you could navigate to the record edit page or new page, which had some values in it with the default. So there would be use case where you say, okay, when I click on this button, right? Sorry, let's get back to the previous one. When I click on this create new button, it takes me to the default like new page, but some of the values are pre-populated. So you can always go ahead and check this way. This is something which is, I think it is useful for all of us. So you could, I would highly recommend everyone to go there and check this particular link as well, so that it will be useful for us. Or maybe let's quickly do this. I'm going to just do the copy paste everything from the document. So we are creating a new component. This is our HTML file. Okay, this is a JavaScript file. I'll explain you what it is there in the JavaScript. So you really don't need to worry that he's just doing the copy paste. That's it. And okay, this is, we really don't need to worry about something else. And all we need is, first of all, let's close other let me close other components. Okay, so we have got a button. It is calling a method. This is the method. Okay, let's see this. Yeah, this is the correct method. It is calling. That's fine. Now let's first of all expose this to use it within the Lightning App Builder. Okay, and we can say new record with default values. And then LWC target. Okay. Now let me take you through here what we have. So what basically happens if you wanted to pass the default values to any new record page? You cannot directly pass the values, which is something like this in the URL. What basically happens if you see here, what is there in the URL? It is URL encoded, right? It is basically replacing the values in the URL encoded form, and then it is displaying in the URL so that it's not easily readable to the users. Okay, so what we have to do is we really have to encode these into the form of URL, and for that we have a method called encode default field values, and that comes within Lightning page reference utils. This is a new library, and that gives us the encode default field values. So what basically it does is it encode into the encoded format, into the URL encoded format. And this particular page reference util also has a method that decode, I think, default field values, that actually going to decode the value from the URL encoded form. Okay. Now this method actually takes the objects, the key and value pair, and the object here, it's basically going to take the key as the field API name and value that you want. Now this, if you have a custom field, those your API name should match as it is. If it doesn't match, your API, your value is not going to get populated. And everything else is similar. Just the only thing we are doing is we are passing the state, which we are saying default field values, and whatever we have got as a part of encoded result. Any questions on this? Yeah, we'll take this, Yogesh, for your question, we'll take this. Okay, if not, let's quickly go ahead, get back to our Salesforce and home page. This time, I hope it's not going to play with us. Please, please, please don't do this. Okay, in the meantime, it's loading. What if we don't pass the parameter, if we don't pass the parameter, I really didn't get, I think you're saying if you do pass the parameter without underscores, C underscore underscore, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So what will happen if we pass the parameter without C underscore underscore?
It will not let you pass. Like for the fraction of second, you will see that the parameter is there in the URL,
Okay.
but it will, Salesforce is going to remove that. I have shown, that's why I have shown that how you are going to, like, we try to pass the variable, and then once it was done, like the variable was not getting passed, then only we went how we can pass. So that is basically required. You really have to pass the parameter with the help of C underscore underscore, and C is your default namespace. So if your component is part of managed package, then you really need to think twice, not think twice. You really need to use the namespace for your managed package. So let's say if your managed package namespace is saying ABC, so you have to pass ABC underscore underscore the variable that you want to. In case of default Salesforce namespace, it is basically what we say, it's C for Lightning Web Component. For Apex, there is no namespace. The default namespace. Okay. I really.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
This is really frustrated. So you all got like the concept of page reference, what page reference is and when we should be using the page reference? Okay, let's try this last time. If it is still giving us the problem or playing with our emotions, we'll try to see it maybe tomorrow. And in the meantime, let's talk about the assignment that we have. This is really simple assignment, nothing complex. What you really need to have is you need to have this a simple Lightning Web Component where you're going to create multiple buttons, maybe 5 buttons here, which is going to say, okay, you are going to, on the click of a button, you need to navigate to the new page, a new record of your opportunity object. And then on the click of a button, you need to navigate to the lead object record page. You could just take the ID of any lead. On a click of a button, it should navigate to the home page of your application. On a click of a button, you could navigate to any external URL, for example, my website, that's PantherSchools.com. And then on a click of a button, you need to navigate to the contacts related list to the account record. So if you have an account record, you could take the account ID statically and you try to navigate to the related list. Everything is there in this particular URL that I have also shared in the Slack channel as well. Okay, so any confusion or anything you need on the assignment side? Hmm. So it's not working. I'm sorry, guys. I'll show you this demo tomorrow before and when we go. Okay. But yeah, really sorry for today's glitch. I really don't know. Like my speed shows, okay, it's very high speed, but it's not working at all. So yeah, anything like else? I know that I think Yogesh, you had your static resource was not working, right?
Yes, sir. So when I dig deeper into that, there is an responsive issue in my browser again. So the catch block is showing like responsive is not a constructed issue.
Okay.
It's the responsiveness is inside that chart.js file. So that is
Okay.
not taking the canvas response is not taking.
Okay. Try to get that canvas outside of division. Don't put it within division and see if that works. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I will try it out.
Yeah. Try that and let me know how it goes. If not, then we can definitely maybe you can share the code with me, whatever you're trying. I'm not sure if that issue is only with your org, or maybe if I would say if someone can try the same, maybe within your org, and then see if you're also getting the same issue. Maybe could be the issue with the library, or maybe sometimes it really behaves weird. So you really don't need to worry about that. Like you're not able to make it work. We will see if not this library, we'll see another library.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so I think if we don't have any questions for today, we can always log off.